Hey guys, this is a quick recap of what we did on Thursday, February the 4th and Friday, February the 5th. This is for you if one of the following is true. If you were absent and you need to get caught up, this is just a quick recap of what we did. It's also for you if you were present, but for whatever reason you didn't get a good daily grade and you're like, I need to get that up to a 70, or if you just want a quick review of what we did. So as always, we start with the Pear Deck. Here was the opening question. It asked about moving our clocks forwards and backwards and why we did this. And this question is here because that ties directly to what we're going to be doing in the writing assignment, which we'll be doing, which will be about daylight savings time and if we should keep it. There were two grades that went into the grade book for today. There's the daily grade, obviously, and there is a grade for the pre-writing assignment. You can find that here on Google Classroom called DST Pre-Writing. When you open it up, it's going to look like this. There's a series of boxes for you to fill in, all on this first page. The gray ones are optional. All the others are not. And this was due by the end of class. Next week, we will be writing an essay about whether or not we should keep daylight savings time. This is the pre-writing. So, as I said, there's a grade for the daily grade and a grade for the pre-writing. So, today, main things we need to do is understand the prompt, brainstorm ideas about it, and fill in the pre-writing. And I want to talk about like this particular essay, what the point of it is. And so I'm going to use this screen right here to do this. This essay is going to give you a lot of sources to read. The original version of it gave you 7 sources. I've actually cut that down to just 4 that we're going to read. But the purpose of this type of essay and the skills we're addressing is your ability to find new information, read new information you didn't currently have, and then find ways to use that information, find ways to take information from 2 different articles and use them together, things like that. It's basically processing information that is new to you and using it in intelligent ways. So right here is the most important part of this assignment. It says, read the following sources, then synthesize at least 3 of the sources into an essay that evaluates daylight savings time and offers a recommendation on its continued use. 2 things I want to point out there. Offer a recommendation on its continued use is a fancy way of saying, should we keep it? Should we keep moving the clocks every year? Or should we get rid of it? Or should we change it in some way? So that is the main question of the essay that you'll be answering. Ultimately, should we keep daylight savings time? Should we get rid of it? Or should we change it? And whatever answer you want to go with is fine. But the thing that's new here that I need you to pay attention to is where it says synthesize at least 3 of the sources. What that means is I'm going to have you read 4 articles. When you write the essay, your evidence needs to come from at least 3 of those articles. You need to be pulling facts and information from those specific articles, not from the internet, not from your own knowledge, but from the articles that I'm about to have you read. And you need to pull it from more than 1. You need to pull it from at least 3. That way you're exhibiting the skills of taking new information and finding ways to use it together. So on the Pear Deck, there's going to be all the articles that I ask you to read right here. They're a little bit blurry, but they are there. You also have in the pre-writing, if you scroll down, all the sources are down here in a much easier to read form, so I don't care where you read them. I will point out, though, that on the Pear Deck, on each slide, I have included an audio link of me reading it. So for those of you who find it easier to read along while you're hearing the words, or especially for source C, which is kind of complicated and has some difficult language in it, it might be useful for you to listen as you read along. Now, for the participation part of the daily grade, you'll notice that for each of these sources that I have you read, there is 3 questions on the right. What is the main point of the article? What facts might be good to use as evidence? And what questions does this leave us with? And those questions are present for all of these sources. And then there's 2 more questions at the end. What sources work well or agree with each other, and which one seems to go against each other? Those are the questions you would be answering. And the place you'd be answering them is something I have not had you do before. It's on Google Groups. You can get to that right here on Classroom. You see the Google Groups link. If you click on it, you will get this here. And what you see, it's basically a version of a discussion board. You see I've posted all those questions. Source F, what questions does it leave us with? Source A, you see those questions are present for each one. In class, I was putting these questions up as they go, so they weren't all there at once. They appeared throughout class, but obviously that's over now. If you click on one of these and let it load up, you'll see both the original question and your classmates' answers. And that's the whole point of doing it this way is So obviously you're putting your own answers there, you're putting your own thoughts into it, but also you're seeing what other people have to say. That's giving you new ideas and so forth. So what we did is after each of the sources we read, I told people go and answer some of the questions and read other people's questions as well. If you're trying to get that daily grade, you're going to want to answer some of these questions as well. After we'd gone through all those questions, we got to the assignment would finally fill in the pre-writing. You can see here how it is graded. That is the first page of this assignment all the way down to this box here. It's important to note where it asks what sources are the facts coming from. That's very important because for me to approve this and give you the grade, you have to be pulling information from at least 3 different sources. It can't just be all from one source. So for your grade, if you're trying to get your daily grade, make sure you have a minimum of 3 posts on the discussion board that don't just repeat what other people have said. There's way more than 3 questions. Make sure you have at least 3 answers. Then let me know to recheck it. For the pre-writing grade, make sure it's completed, and then let me know to recheck it. Any other questions you have, talk to me, hit me up on Remind, or ask me to get into a Zoom chat with you, and I'll help you out.